Join me every Tuesday for fun and games and play for cash. That's right. Sylvia Mid, the fun word guessing game is back and you can come aboard and play. It's simple. Just email us your name and contact information and you are in there, baby. Yeah.
Hey, what's happening? This is Smooth Tim and Larry E, and thank you for joining us on another hump day on Tim's Tidbits. How you doing, Larry?
I mean, you good?
I am good. I am good.
Hump day. It's time to get it.
I'm thinking it is definitely time to get it. Just if the weather could just make up its damn mind on what it wants to do.
It's like this in Texas too.
It's like 70 one day and 30 the next, and it's like, just wake up, surprise, surprise. What's it gonna be like? Who the hell knows?
Gotta just live and just bring a suitcase.
Something like that there. I'm just saying. Everything else is good down in Texas?
Man, those gas prices, they going up, man. Listen, now, I don't know if you know, but back in the days, like people would like take batteries and put them in the freezer, try to make them last longer.
Oh, yeah.
I bought me a gallon of gas and stuck it in my freezer with my batteries. I'm like, that's
make it. I'm sitting there thinking if you would have had some ESP about this kind of stuff, yeah, you would have had like 100-gallon tank filled up out back. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
people think you're crazy. Larry's out there; he's got 100-gallon tank, and he just got it filled with gas. And then who's laughing now?
I'm a prophet. That's what I am.
Excuse me. Anyhow, yeah, that's one of our topics: the oil ban and pain at the pump.
Yes.
And man, I'm telling you what, that's getting crazy out there. I mean, yeah. I think I looked it up just before we started the show. The national average now for a gallon of gas, $4.25.
Today, filled up the van, $111.
You know what you was paying a gallon?
Yep, and it was at like racetrack.
How much was it a gallon? What is it down there in Texas?
It's about 404. But that racetrack is considered one of the lowest. You know, I guess some stores you got to go to, they have the points. The points or whatever.
Yeah, the awards. Yeah, you get the field point awards. Right on.
Yeah, but that's not going to matter now because the gas is still going to be like $4 or $5 a gallon. So them points are not going to work unless you got millions of them.
Yeah, well, because, I'll let my Kroger points build up. Giving away a secret, my Kroger points build up. I get, 30 cents off a gallon.
Yeah, that's like the best thing going on.
Not the best thing you can do, but yeah, in Toledo here it's 408, and the highest right now over in California, outside of Los Angeles area, $6.14 a gallon. Like there's insane. And you listen to the topics now, you talk about, and I believe we had some conversations a few shows ago, let's go 10, 12 shows back, whatever it was, when we was talking about Uber drivers, right? Yeah.
Right.
How can you afford it? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I didn't think about Uber drivers. That business is going to go. No, they're going to raise the price. This is what's happening. If the gas prices go up, every entity is going to raise their price. And you would never think of it. The nail shops are going to raise their price to get your nails done. You know why? Because they got to get materials delivered.
Well, think about that. Besides
logistics,
it's interesting that you should say something like nails because that's a petroleum-based product.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's going to go up. A simple pedicure that costs $25
is going to go up. I'm telling. And let's listen to. I got a quick vid I wanted to play. It's Biden, and he's talking about some of the sanctions, the ban that he's going to be putting on Russia as far as buying oil. Let's check us out and then get back to this conversation.
Today, I'm announcing the United States is targeting the main artery of Russia's economy. We're banning all imports of Russian oil and gas and energy. That means Russian oil will no longer be acceptable at U.S. ports, and the American people will deal another powerful blow to Putin's war machine. This is a move that has strong bipartisan support in the Congress and, I believe, in the country. Americans have rallied to support their Ukrainian people and made it clear we will not be part of subsidizing Putin's war. We made this decision in close consultation with our allies and our partners around the world, particularly in Europe, because a united response to Putin's aggression has been my overriding focus, to keep all NATO and all of the EU and our allies totally united. We're moving forward with this ban, understanding that many of our European allies and partners may not be in a position to join us. The United States produces far more oil domestically than all the European countries combined. In fact, we're a net exporter of energy. So we can take this step when others cannot. But we're working closely with Europe and our partners to develop a long-term strategy to reduce their dependence on Russian energy as well. Our teams are actively discussing how to make this happen, and today we remain united. We remain united in our purpose to keep pressure mounting on Putin and his war machine.
Bam. But, you know, I understand that how much are we willing to pay at the pump before we finally like, why don't we just go over there and nuke Putin or something like that? Because I'm tired of this.
You know what kills me, though? Even though we're not going to receive gas from them, why are we raising our prices if we got it? If we have it and we don't need it from them, why are the prices skyrocketing? Why are we raising prices?
I think because some of our production slowed way down for whatever reason. And we talked about this too on another show, about how they stagnate production to drive up prices when they got oil in their backyard, you know. Yeah, it's an ugly circle, and yeah, we could do it, but, you know, it's a very low percentage. I think it was, what is it we get from Russia, like 50 million gallons a day.
Right.
But I think now Canada to the north of us is even more. I think they get like 50% of their oil from Russia.
Oh, so they're a little bit more.
So they're a little bit more cautious, and you know
they might want to ally up with Russia.
I was giggling to myself, not giggling, but they probably want to kick themselves in the ass for selling us Alaska with all the oil up there. Why did we get rid of that?
Right.
You know.
I know, right? Oh my.
But yeah, that whole situation is, you know, getting weird, and off topic from the oil. You know, they were talking about getting Ukraine some MiG fighters. Poland wanted to supply Ukraine with some MiGs. But, you know, part of it is they didn't want to, like, directly give them the Ukraine. They wanted to, like, drop them off at a U.S. base and have, like, the U.S. base. Like,
kind of like a baby daddy when you come, you pick up your son, put him on the porch.
And Uncle Sam's like, wait, so I get to be the middle bad guy, right? No. So,
United States, they did well by cutting off, because that's what you do is, I think the Civil War, that's what happened. If I recall, I forgot what I read, but somehow Lincoln, he cut off supplies to the South. He destroyed something that cut supplies off to the South, and that gave the North the leverage to actually win the Civil War. I forgot what it was, but that's how you do it. Same thing with the boycott. When we boycotted the bus systems back in the day, all you got to do is cut off the resources and then boycott it, and then everybody comes around and starts saying, okay, we need them.
Right.
So we're going to stop doing what we're doing.
But part of it is we really, I think, when we look at how we utilize fossil fuels, and I know that the U.S. makes a ton off of fossil fuels, and I was looking up about, how is these oil prices going to, drive the people towards getting like green energy, solar, wind, water, things like that. Renewable, they call it renewable energy. because whereas like coal and oil, that's a resource that they think 50 some, maybe a little bit more years, and that resource is going to be depleted. So where are you going to go as available resource for power for anything?
Well,
right?
too, Tim, you got green energy, Encore. We're learning this now here in Texas. I don't know if a lot of Texans know this. Encore, which is a major corporation here, they own green energy. So you get a bill from the green energy, okay, which is not bad, but Encore is going to tax you another $100 or $200 on top of that.
For what
Yeah,
purpose?
that's how they're doing it down here now. So if you with the green energy, these other companies like you just spoke about, if you got that company, but that company falls under the umbrella of Encore, you get 2 bills.
So
yeah.
So they're not really promoting renewable energy.
No, recently my wife's grandmother, she had a bill for $300 for her electricity through the green company. The Encore charged another $200 plus dollars. So there we go again with the big corporations. So we gotta watch out for that green stuff. It's a catch.
Yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You know what? Let's. I want to do a quick thing on renewable energy so people know what. Check this video out, and then let's get back and talk to this. Now I want to tell you a little something that's real interesting.
Renewable energy. Renewable energy is a term used to describe a group of energy technologies derived from sources that do not deplete or that can be replenished within a human's lifetime. The most common renewable energy sources are solar, which harnesses the sun for energy, wind, which utilizes the motion of wind to create electricity, hydropower, which uses moving water to generate power, biomass, which refers to a large group of technologies that use living or recently living organisms and waste to create energy. Tidal. Tidal uses the rise and fall of the tides to create electricity. Geothermal, which uses the internal heat from the earth for energy. Nuclear energy is not considered a renewable energy source. It is considered an alternative energy source. While renewable energy accounts for a minority share of the world's energy supply, it is also the fastest growing energy supply on the planet. Renewable energy is sought after because it is a clean source of energy, meaning that it does not directly produce greenhouse gas emissions or air pollutants. While renewable energy sources are better for the environment, they also face several challenges, the main ones being low efficiencies, high capital costs, and intermittency. That's renewable energy.
Capital cost.
Yep. That's why they are so slow to get to it. Because, I mean, transportation of those, and you have to have it near a population, because transportation and, how it works with resistance and moving energy. Because there are places, just like in North Texas, up around Amarillo, where they've got the windmills, right? Yeah.
Yep, a bunch of them. Yep, right.
And I mean,
California has a lot of them.
And, in the right environment, wow, in a desert, solar energy, boom. But, it's a storage thing besides a transport thing. And, and you should get paid. I mean, my one son who has a solar collector, and the solar collector actually puts back into the grid, okay?
Right.
And then what they do is measure how much of that solar energy is going back into the grid from his solar collector, and then they deduct that from his bill.
Okay. Yeah, I really believe in renewable energy.
So I mean, you don't have to go to super extremes, but if you would sit there and make incremental changes, just like if somebody would put up a collector, now you're using less resources on the electrical grid, and we're able to distribute it at a cheaper rate.
Right. Well, the problem I got with it is I don't know if it's capitalism. Is that what we call it?
Let's call it capitalism. Oh, you're talking about my wallet.
Yeah, pretty much.
Talking about my wallet now, are we?
That's cornering the market, making those profits like Encore. That's the issue, because Encore is the company, the green company that these people are with here in Dallas, DFW. Some people know what I'm talking about. The umbrella on the Encore, and Encore is going to tax you.
But, I think these people who are going to electric cars are smart.
Yes. But the problem with that is, what about the access? You go around to places like stores, all the retail places, or gas stations,
to
or
refuel, so to speak.
Refuel or homes. A lot of people are not down with that. So what if you drive an electric car, or if you drive a certain distance, you don't have the accessibility to charge your car back up. So you limit it.
Yeah, I think it's like 400 miles, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So then the country, the world has to understand that this is what we need now.
And they accommodate that.
They got to start accommodating, setting up ports for electric cars, because I'm down with it.
I think we're always going to need some of these resources, the oil, the coal, because there's so many other products, as we sat there and talked about petroleum products from plastics to nail polish.
You can't get rid of that.
You can't get rid of it, but you can relieve the stress that you're putting onto it, and would there be a reduction in the workforce for some of these people? There may be, probably, but obviously with the production of new energy and new resources, it's not like you're not going to be able to find a job.
No, and the thing about it is, you have these natural resources. Who wouldn't want to use natural resources? Who would want to? Who would want to just put gas in their car all the time and stop by the gas station and stand there and watch the pump? The best things about gas station to me is getting coffee and getting rid of your trash. That's what I enjoy at the gas station. Getting me a cup of coffee and dumping my trash.
And using the squeegee.
If I have to use it, if I ain't went to the car wash. But nobody wants to stand by a dusty pump, and then if it overflows, it gets on your shoes, your clothes, on your car, it smells like gas. It's a headache. You
ever see that ad? That's why I made that joke. No gas, no squeegee.
Yeah, I know, right?
No gas, no squeegee.
It's a headache, man. Gas stations suck, man. Gas stations, don't go to a ghetto gas station. I went to a gas station so ghetto, it was right by the police station. I'm like, golly, I ain't got to worry about getting robbed. It's right by the police. If I do get robbed, I go report it right over there.
They still didn't have squeegees. They were stolen, right?
About 20 crackheads out
all the crackheads that just got out of jail and grabbed them.
Yeah. Everybody had paper towels and well, I don't know where they got the windshield stuff from, but they had all that stuff.
That's an easy way to judge your neighborhood, man. You got that right. do they got squeegees and window cleaner? If they don't, it's not a good neighborhood.
No. Hey, this is the worst part. If you go to a gas station, it's cold and the water's frozen with the squeegee, the gas station is trash.
That too.
They on top of your water, because you need squeegee in the wintertime too, So. All right, let's get back on subject.
Hey man, what do you think? Did you catch on the news what's going on in Florida with the what they're calling the Don't Say Gay Act, but it has to do with the parental education?
Okay, let's enlighten our viewers.
Okay. Let's go to yes. So that they know what we're talking about.
Right.
Florida's always in the goddamn.
And I'm already laughing, so people are like, why is he laughing? So
that's not that funny.
It ain't funny, but I'm just saying. But
here we go, people. No laughing.
Florida's controversial legislation passing, now sent to the governor there tonight. It's called the Parental Rights in Education Bill. Critics call it the Don't Say Gay Bill. What it would prevent teachers from saying or doing, and some asking tonight, if this is signed, what about isolated or bullied children? Who will they be able to turn to at school? Here's Victor Akendo in Florida tonight.
Tonight, Florida's controversial legislation, dubbed by critics as the Don't Say Gay Bill and gaining national attention, has been sent to Governor Ron DeSantis to sign, the governor already signaling he supports it. The state Senate passing the bill 22-17 today, despite days of protests from the LGBTQ community and thousands of students. Officially called the Parental Rights in Education Bill, the measure bans lessons regarding sexual orientation or gender identity in grades K through 3rd, and any instruction that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate according to state standards. Those standards, however, not yet in place for several grades.
All it does is state what is age, it talks about what's appropriate in the classroom to teach, and then it talks about the fact that the parent has the right to be engaged in the education of their children.
But critics warn this will prevent teachers and schools from helping children who feel bullied or ostracized and have nowhere to turn. According to the Trevor Project, 52% of LGBTQ youth enrolled in middle or high school reported being bullied in the last year, and 42% reported seriously considering suicide. President Biden has already condemned the bill, and tonight his education secretary suggested schools implementing it could lose access to federal grants due to a 1972 law. David?
Victor Akendo tonight. Victor, thank you.
What do you think of that?
Okay. What happened just teaching basics? I don't understand the curriculum these days with these schools. What is it, LGBT? They say grades from K through third.
Now, you know what? I understand that direction that they tried to take by, limiting rather the amount of information that you provide to a child who's not yet mature enough to process it all. Now, I think where I kind of, that open-ended thing, at the end is, when they come up with whatever their standards are and whatever they feel is an appropriate age, that open-ended shit leaves, too much to the imagination. And I understand where the LGBT community said, wait. But I do have a slight agreement with what they were trying to do with the younger children. But when it got to the older kids and when they do need counseling, because they are getting segregated out, because we do recognize those people who are different than us, so to speak.
I'm just saying everybody's different. Okay, now I think it's getting out of control with the LGBTQ because now we're just setting like it's them against us. Okay, we talked about the history of homosexuality between men and women. Other shows we had, it's been here, it's not going anywhere. It was even more announced back then compared to now. Now people have gotten in how can I say, in a box and hid it and keep it concealed. All of a sudden now it's a big problem. There's never been a problem. This here, LGBTQ, homosexuality ain't going nowhere. It's not going anywhere. All I'm saying is you're in school. You're in school to learn the basics until you go to college. Go to college and learn what you need to learn to be successful as an adult, as a productive citizen in the United States or any other country you're from. Once you get out of college, once you get out of high school and get out of college, be whatever you want to be. But don't distract other students that are not concerned with that they're not part of that. Stop being a distraction. The LGBTQ and all this stuff is more of a distraction than it is an educational thing. That's what I see it as. I have no problem with them, but let's learn.
Right.
Let's learn, man.
But don't you think they should have even some type of sensitivity training?
Man, listen, you're in school to learn.
Yes, you are, and you need to learn.
You get that from your parents. You get that from your parents, your caretakers, or your whoever it is that's above you. All right, you get that from them. When you go to school to learn.
Did you go to school in the Carroll School District?
No, I'm from the country. I'm Marlin. I'm Marlin, Waco.
But because what's going up in Carroll ISD.
Yeah, we talked about that on the show before.
We talked on it before about those kids that made that video when they was on spring break. Well, now they're back in the news again because they didn't address jack shit. So sometimes I think maybe we do need to somehow, intervene or something. We have to come to a concession, Larry, that something needs to be done to provide an avenue for, either the kids who are being abused and or let, and somehow, convey to these bullies that this ain't cool.
What happens with a bully when you whip their ass, they leave you alone. That's why you got school counselors. That's why you have mothers and fathers, uncles, aunties, you have all kinds of stuff.
Christian loves Yu-Gi-Oh!, science fiction, and hanging out in his room.
I really wanted to make an elemental hero deck.
But recently he says he's struggled after being bullied relentlessly for identifying as pansexual at Durham Intermediate School, part of the Carroll Independent School District in Southlake, Texas.
It mainly just gave me depression, and it felt more nerve-wracking to go to school.
What were kids saying?
They were using gay slurs and being very rude to me just by making jokes.
One day, his mother, Christina Edmiston, noticed welts all over his legs. Christian told her other students had hit him.
I would go to pick him up, and I would see him standing by himself, but then watching kids circle him, kind of like a lion would stalk its prey.
Southlake schools have been in the national spotlight since 2018, when a video of high school students chanting the N-word went viral. Volunteers spent almost 2 years working on a school diversity and inclusion plan, but conservative residents launched a lawsuit and voted in new school board members opposed to it. Now, the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights is investigating alleged discrimination based on race, sexuality, and nation of origin. The NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund has also filed a complaint on behalf of 4 students, saying the district failed to intervene. Christian is one of them.
There's what happens when you decide to do nothing. There's what happens when you decide to do nothing.
Yeah, that ain't nothing new. I'm just saying you should do something, but that's not nothing new, Tim. I'm like discrimination of origin, race, and sexuality. That's been going on.
Should it be there, or should you sit there and let those students know in some type of way that this is unacceptable behavior and it's not welcomed in the community that we have here at school?
Yeah, I agree with you. But like at the end of the day, you got teachers, you got school counselors, you have principals, you have mothers, fathers, you have coaches. They are all involved. At the end of the day, those students go to school to learn, not to be more gay, not to the civil rights, because they don't want civil rights in the schools. You got to go to school to learn, and you got to deal with the controversy. Now, think about it. That's discrimination. It happens with you as an older man, me as a black man, women. Discrimination. Everybody's going to experience something. So they just got to join the crowd. I'm used to it. I've been discriminated against a lot of times. I've been discriminated against by my own race of people.
You can be. Sure you can be.
I'm just saying.
You can be discriminated against. I see now and I seen on the news earlier tonight, a football coach that was fired from his position because he likes to have the team at the end of every game go to the middle of the field, take a knee, and give thanks for a safe game and a victory. So they fired him.
All I'm saying is the LGBTQ community, they have a valid argument.
They do.
They need to get in line with everybody else.
And I think let's say that we as a nation need to be a little bit more cognizant of what we're doing.
That's true. Okay, let's start with the main issue. Let's start with discrimination with everybody, with women, men, race, country of origin. Let's start discrimination to give everybody equal opportunity. Then we'll move on to the other things. All I'm saying is there are a lot bigger issues in this country, in this world, that we can fix. Now, if you choose to identify with a woman when you're a man or a man when you're a woman, okay, you got to suck that up and deal with it. I ain't got a problem with it, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know, you can hide that, and you cannot agree to be that. You can't hide being an older white man. You can't hide being white. I can't hide being a black man. We stuck with this. Okay, that's something they chose to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I leave it at that. You chose. If you're a man, you're a man. If you're a woman, you're a woman. You know the consequences.
Yeah, a lot of it is social acceptance.
Yeah, that's how it is, man. That's been going on before Jesus. Read the books. We know. They need to read the books and know. This ain't nothing new, but it's just now also it's a big issue. All right, let's move on, man, because
Hey, man, and speaking of out of control kids, and this one I couldn't believe. And this is also, guess where, gang? In Florida. Also,
always.
It's always in Florida, but check this out.
And back here at home, we're learning the elementary school student accused of attacking a teacher likely will not face charges because he's too young in the eyes of the law. Local 10's Ian Margol is live. He's in Pembroke Pines now with this update. And Ian, this little boy is only, 5 years old?
5 years old, and that is why he likely will not face charges. The law basically saying he isn't old enough to know right from wrong at this point. And today we also learned this teacher has some pretty serious injuries and actually needs surgery, and it's possible this student has actually hurt this teacher more than once. This all happened on Wednesday in a class for students with special needs at Pines Lakes Elementary in Pembroke Pines. Apparently 2 students, a 4- and a 5-year-old, began throwing things around the classroom and flipping chairs. The 5-year-old, who everyone has been talking about at the center of this, was brought to another room to help calm him down, but apparently he lunged at the teacher when she wasn't expecting it. When first responders got there, she had fallen backwards, smacked her head. The 13-year veteran teacher was unresponsive for those first responders. She was rushed to the hospital. We're told she suffered a pretty major concussion along with several other major injuries. And Anna Fusco, the president of the Broward Teachers Union, says this is actually the third time this teacher has had to be taken from the school by fire rescue because of injuries from this student, and that she's actually asked the school district for help in the classroom more than once, but has been told the district doesn't have the resources.
Enough with the excuses, and do it for the good of the student, which in turns for the good of the whole class and is for the good of the employee. That mother has a right to go home to her child without being injured to take care of her child and not be choked out, a bookshelf thrown on her, and now this concussion and everything else. It's not okay.
So the good news is that teacher is back home, but again, her injury's pretty serious and she still does need that surgery. Again, this 5-year-old likely will not face charges, but again, this is all still under investigation and police say anything could change. Live in Pembroke Pines, I'm Ian Margol, Local 10 News.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, special needs. I heard keyword special needs.
But you know what? You know what I find interesting, and it's not necessarily that I think, and I believe the kid probably is, especially being special needs, because we don't know how severe his particular disability is. Mm-hmm. But when they're saying that was the third time that this teacher has been attacked.
So who should be held accountable?
The school district.
Exactly. Not a 5-year-old or
not
the
5-year-old. And it's not the teacher's fault. The teacher was trying to take him to a cool down room or whatever the hell they called it.
Right. Well, if anybody knows psychology, the brain doesn't fully develop till you're 25. Okay. Probably sooner. Women develop faster than young men. Okay. 5. And then they're saying things may change. No, the school district, the superintendent, the local government should be doing more to protect those teachers. Well, this is a prime example of somebody not doing nothing. They worried, okay, I didn't want to go back. I hate going backwards, but they're more worried about civil rights for LGBTQ, but then you got some serious issues going on protecting our teachers. Our teachers are the foundation to our local cities, our governments, this world. These teachers are the ones that take care of our kids when we can't take care of them while we're working to support our countries.
You're right.
We gotta
and we need to keep them protected, and that's insane. And I mean, and that one guy did you see on the news, it was a couple of weeks back, where this teacher had slammed the kid up against the wall, and I mean, a little excessive because he was wearing a hoodie, but he was in, I think, the same kind of a situation where he was in a special needs environment. And this kid who had a history of misbehaving, that gave him a bunch of guff, cussed him out, walked out the room, whatever the case is. He's chasing him down the hall and then bangs him into a locker. Did you see that?
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you something.
Then he ended up resigning. But see, now, there again, I'm not making excuses for that teacher, but who knows how many times he put up with that before he finally snapped. Who knows how many times that teacher in Florida has to put up with that before that kid kills her.
The police officers have a tough job, but the teachers have a tougher job. It's different from when we went to school. Kids are more aggressive. They have more media outlets when it comes to Instagram and all this crap on TV and these games, and they have more things to feed their anger. It ain't just bullying. It's just a lot of things, Tim. So our teachers are our foundation. And
now let's keep it real. When I was in school and you got into junior high, and the principal had a board hanging on the wall, a wiffle board with like little leather wove in and out of it, and that was your discipline panel. I got it too. You don't want your PE teacher getting you because he was strong. Our PE teacher was a wrestling coach.
He tear your ass up.
Yeah, and he was like he was an MAC champion, which is
he'd tear your butt up.
Hey, and that's back when they were. But you know what? I'll tell you what. Kids did not mouth off the teachers back then. Not like they do now. And I'm not saying the way that they handled the situation was the correct way, But man, you kept people in line.
Well, all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, kids are kids, adults are adults. You respect an adult. You respect them at home. If you can't respect them at home, they shouldn't be at school with other adults.
But yeah,
if your kid is that bad at home, don't send them to school.
Back to that school district, they're responsible for that.
Yeah, but if your kid is that bad at home, don't send them to school. I know every kid deserves an education, but when your kid is
how long are you going to put up with that kind of kid 24 hours a day, Larry, 7 days a week? You're going to unload him on the school.
I couldn't be a teacher because I was like, you know what? I'm going to choke me a month. Let me don't say that. I don't know, because it's crazy, because it's like, why are you protecting these? Honestly, you protect kids, but at the end of the day, you know this kid has issues. It's been a problem. It's been documented. We need teachers. We need good teachers.
Right. And you know, and I thought that, and I don't know how that works, that you develop, like when you have special needs, IEPs, or I think they call them individual education plans or something like that for kids like that, where, I mean, somebody like that, they should know he can't be in this environment because he is going to behave. He needs to be in a one-on-one environment, or they should know this shit.
You know what, though, too, though? These schools provide these programs because these programs got to have an X amount of students that have funding. And they need to have that program to get that funding. So, and I think it's a dollar thing. Yeah, I'm always about it's a dollar thing. So it's about funding too, though. So, but safety is more important than anything in life. If you're not being safe, you won't live.
You're right. You had to say the one big thing, and you are 100% correct. And that goes into, it's a dollar thing. So my question is, as we move on to the next topic, why would Dave care so much about affordable housing?
I see Dave is on. All right, Dave, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can. You're echoing. Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. I just want to say I'm adamantly opposed to it. Obviously, I live behind the development, or the proposed development. I do have many business interests in town. I've invested millions of dollars in town. If you push this thing through, what I'm investing in is no longer applicable. And I would say that Oberg can come and buy all this property from me if they want to be a benefactor, because I will no longer want to. Can you hear me?
You dropped for a minute there, Dave.
The average age in the village is 49 years old. Without a school, you will not attract young families, and this city will not live beyond the retirees that decide to settle here. And I'm surprised that Mary Ann McQueen is suddenly not averse to change, because you always are when I propose a change. And now all of a sudden we have to recognize the change. These changes are inevitable, but we do have a decision on what they will or could be. And I think we should use more of a visionary eye instead of a reactionary one, because the potential of this place is immense, and Oberg is not the only solution. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
I'd like to yield the rest of my time to Max Crum.
Yeah, we're all going to yield all our time to Max Crum for... I know.
But for real, Oberg, if you want to buy this stuff, come get it.
All right.
Can I go? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Hi, I'm Dave Chappelle. I just want to say, and Marianne, I could talk to you about this privately. I don't know why the village council would be afraid of litigation from a $24 million a year company while they X out a $65 million a year company. I cannot believe you would make me audition for you. You look like clowns. I am not bluffing. I will take it all off the table. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, and let's put it in perspective. Dave is saying he want no damn low income housing apartments next to his damn property. He's gonna bring his property value down.
Anywhere near his shit.
If you put it there, you can buy this shit back. I'm moving. That's
And
basically
then
what he's saying.
that was cold blooded. What the hell was the reference to Oprah?
I missed that part.
Hey, Oprah can come and get this shit.
Yeah. Oh, he said Oprah?
Yeah. I was like, what was the reference in that? Is she like with the affordable housing type stuff and get people?
She probably could be, but there's nothing wrong with it, man.
And then I was like, he ceases to amaze me because, his last, when, with the LBGT, with that joke that he was playing in, A Closer Look with Dave Chappelle, and then that got all kinds of controversy. Now he's out here, dogging out people who need affordable housing. And that's not necessarily referred to any, nationality. It could be, retirees or any, who knows?
You know what? He has Dave Chappelle's a black man. He's an older black man now. Our country has a lot of negativity towards black people in America. And I think maybe it's like in his psychic, in his mind, his psychology, part of his brain is telling him that it's going to be bad. It's going to be the worst of the people.
It's going to turn ghetto all of a sudden. It's going
to be like an intercity. It's going to turn into the intercity. It's going to spread like a disease, like COVID, and it's going to just kill and destroy everything. And it's going to be part of its property.
Well, and there's a lot of stars that do that. They will, go into an area and they will buy, the property to the, either side of them.
It's a term they use. It's called ender justification. What's it called?
I can't remember what that term is, but then you'll see it quite often. There's a lot of them that do that.
They take either old apartments or old land or land that's not used, and they bring in subdivisions or divisions, but they usually bring in good places, and they move all the ghetto people out.
And I can understand, wanting to protect your investment, but
gender justification.
But you know what? Just for this purpose, I have a video, and it's called "Affordable Housing: Myths and Reality." Just for our viewers.
Good.
You've likely heard of the term affordable housing. It's a necessity in most communities, including ours. So what is it? Affordable housing is a home or apartment where the rent or mortgage is less than 30%, including essential utilities, of a family's monthly income. How is it funded? A combination of public and private funds is used to provide mortgage, rental, or down payment assistance. The city of Greenville helps to fund the construction of affordable homes. Unfortunately, there are a lot of myths surrounding affordable housing. Myth: affordable housing is only for poor people. Reality: affordable housing is for seniors and entry-level working professionals like teachers, firefighters, police officers, and healthcare providers. Citizens who need affordable housing are low to moderate income earners who are also taxpayers.
Right now, with the housing market the way it is, it's hard to find affordable housing. So it's important that we work together to make sure that we can house everybody. Every person needs to have a place to lay his head at night.
Myth: affordable housing is low quality and looks cheap. Reality: lower cost doesn't mean lower quality. Builders of affordable housing developments must comply with the same design and construction standards as market rate projects. Because affordable housing often relies on public funding, builders often have additional restrictions and higher standards. Myth: affordable housing drives down property values and increases crime. Reality: extensive research shows affordable housing has no negative impact on home prices, the sale of neighboring homes, or the crime rate. In many instances, affordable housing increases surrounding property values because developers or municipalities invest in infrastructure improvements to benefit quality of life. Families who live in affordable housing seek the same thing every family does: a safe place to raise their children and an opportunity to invest in their future. The City of Greenville is committed to working with our partners to make that dream a reality. I'm Lauren Thomas for the City of Greenville.
Easily explained. So what is it? Dave?
It was just being Dave.
So what is it, Dave? So what is it? Some of these other people besides?
You know what? Dave has a ranch. He has a bunch of land. He wants his his segregation. He doesn't want people around him. That's why he bought it. He bought that to have that peace of mind. That's what he needs. He desires that.
It's not always, and I don't know if you've ever seen this on the news and off of the Dallas channels, but I caught this here in Toledo on one of the Toledo channels. Is there's a shopping center down here, how the old shopping centers used to be before malls. It's called Southwood Shopping Center, and they're talking about wanting to take this huge parking lot and turn it into affordable housing area. These people in the neighborhood are going ape shit.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. When you think of affordable housing, the first thing you think about is the projects.
And I think that's the big misconception. And then how do you convey that properly to the people that no, we're not putting up cheap pieces of garbage.
Yeah, what you tell the people around them, yeah, it's projects, but it has lipstick on it.
Right.
At the end of the day,
it's $1,000 hoe. It ain't your typical street one.
Yeah, it's the projects, but it got lipstick. It looks good with lipstick. I'm just saying,
you're horrible.
At the end of the day, projects don't look the same. If you got a bunch of houses that all look exactly alike, it's the projects. You can call it affordable housing. Now, the class of people that stay in it changes it from typical projects to affordable housing. If you move it in, those so-called firefighters, teachers, police officers, this, people that are bringing up the community, trying to raise it up and bring the community up and the neighborhood up to a certain standard, yes. But if you're just bringing in people that are using government subsidies and low-income people that don't want to work, that don't want to do this and into drug, whatever, then it ain't nothing but projects with lipstick.
So let me ask you this. Okay, you're an educated man. What kind of metrics would you apply so that you could have a diverse community that could afford everybody the opportunity?
Yeah, I would say.
How would you do that?
I would say you got to hold a certain title because if you work hard, you don't need a title. I would say you got to have a certain level of income that you bring in.
You mean to start with a base income?
No, you ain't got to start with it. You can just, the government help you out with a down payment, whatever, because VA loan, I used a VA loan. I didn't pay a down payment. Okay. But you have to bring in a certain amount of income per year and pay your taxes. Say that affordable housing, all the houses start at, say now, the housing market is crazy. Say you build a affordable housing community and at least you got to make at least $70,000 a year. 2 people together. That's a family. Or an individual has a smaller home, they need to make at least $45,000 to $50,000 a year. Now, if you know people that work that brings in $40,000, $50,000 a year or $70,000 with both incomes, they work, they pay taxes. Now, if you're moving into the affordable housing complexes and you're using straight government subsidies and they paying 70% of your rent, and then you're not even working at all, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's not right. But and the other part of it, I think, besides, sometimes I think there should be when you have if you're going to put that kind of money into as a city, metroplex, wherever you're at, and you're going to put that kind of money into that kind of a project, you should have some type of a HOA oversight.
Some kind of guidelines.
Right, because I'm not necessarily that you're paying into HOA, but I like areas that are HOA because you can see the difference in the way it's taken care of.
I don't like HOA either, but no one wants to. Dave Chappelle, no one wants a low income or a trashy place around their environment, whether you're rich or poor. Nobody wants that crap.
Right. Nobody wants to see that.
If
right.
you pay your taxes, if you pay taxes.
If you live in the ghetto, you don't want to see that shit next door to you.
You don't want people around you that's not paying taxes. Let's put it like that. If you paying taxes, got to deal with this tax crap and pay taxes and all that. You don't want people around that's not paying taxes.
In the worst part of town, do they want that abandoned house next door where the gangs and the drug users are hanging out?
Yeah,
I don't want that.
I want taxpayers around me. Right. I am taxpayers. It don't matter what color they are.
Then you can you can get some street work done.
Yeah, whether LGBTQ, I don't care where they're from, what the preference is. Taxpayers.
That's
taxpayers,
right.
Taxpayers are taxpayers.
And I wasn't joking about taxpayers get the first service now, don't they?
Yes.
As far as getting your street fixed, getting your garbage picked up, all of it. The higher the tax bracket, you say they get number one done. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, for real.
Who is that messing around with you? Is that the
Go
wifey?
ahead. Let's get the show growing. You know what I'm saying? Stuff happens.
Tell your wifey to behave.
Yeah.
Anyhow, hey, man, you know what? I'll tell you what we'll get to because, yeah, we can get ready to wrap this up. As always, one of my favorite parts is who gets the Asshole of the Week award. Well, you know, it was not really hard to figure out once you just watched the man on TV and what he had to say.
Я хочу еще раз все-таки подчеркнуть это. Я говорил, но мне очень бы хотелось, чтобы вы меня услышали все-таки в конце концов. И донесли это до своих читателей, зрителей и пользователей в интернете. Но вы понимаете или нет, что если Украина будет в НАТО и военным путем будет возвращать себе Крым, европейские страны автоматически будут втянуты в военный конфликт с Россией. Конечно, значит, потенциал объединенной организации НАТО и России несопоставим. Мы понимаем. Но мы также и понимаем, что Россия одна из ведущих ядерных держав. По некоторым компонентам по современности даже многих опережает. Победителей не будет. И вы окажетесь втянутыми в этот конфликт помимо своей воли. И вы даже не успеете глазом моргнуть, когда будете исполнять пункт 5 Римского договора. Господин президент, конечно, не хочет этого развития. И я не хочу. И я не хочу. Поэтому он здесь и находится, и мучает меня уже 6 часов подряд.
Wow.
He's a dick.
Can you believe he threatens like nuclear war?
Yeah, I'm like, really? So now you already got this going on. Now you're talking about nuclear.
Oh, he's talking about, dropping bombs on my, like, you know, like, man. So, yeah, obviously he's got more in mind than Ukraine. So, you know, I understand now, go back to where we was at. And we talked earlier about, you know, the Polish government being a little bit hesitant to, you know, hand over jets directly to Ukraine. Hell, you know, piss off Putin enough. He's, you know, oh, let me throw a couple tanks your way.
He made a bad decision. A lot of people in prison today are not bad people. They made bad decisions.
Right.
That's all I remember that America. Facebook, friends, and family. He made a bad decision. Whether he's bad or not, he's no different from all these other rich assholes we see in America, but he has more power and he made a bad decision. And it's going to get worse for everybody.
What's interesting, you know, in lieu to your comment right there, is that a lot of people have commented that we've tried to give him some outs. You know, how about this? How about that? And just back out because
he can't do it.
He can't do it. It's like he's overcommitted himself, you know?
Because then if he back out, he's going to look like a coward. Not only to his country. No, forget the country. Well, yeah, to his country, and then all the people.
Yeah, because they have no idea. It was so interesting. That's why they stopped, you know, having any type of news media that, you know, referred to it as an aggression, a war, or whatever. That's why all these agencies, you know, news agencies are bouncing out. I think the only one that's left in Russia is CNN. And, you know,
they have to stay in because they connect with all kinds of countries.
You know, McDonald's is pulled out, and all these, and you know, all the Microsoft, all you know, all the MasterCard, Visa, all these people are, you know, jumping ship right now, getting the hell out of there. You know, and how's he going to explain this to the, you know, to his people that, you know, well, I was wrong and I shouldn't have been doing what he
if he backs out now, he's going to look,
you know,
like a coward.
It's been all propaganda that, you know, Ukrainians are Nazis. And that's what they believe in, and that's what he's told these people. And the Nazis, you know, obviously during World War II invaded Russia and, you know, transgressed against them, their women. So they've got a lot of animosities towards, you know, neo-Nazism. So, hey, why not spin that shit?
He came back out. So he caused it. You know what? By him making a decision, it's going to cost the consumers a lot of money. United States consumers, we are suffering.
We are suffering because of it now. It's, you know,
we ain't threw a grenade, we ain't shot a bullet,
we ain't done jack shit, and we're paying. Well,
paying
you know
for
what?
It. Took our bus to work, and we paying for it.
Speaking of that, and we're not done paying. Wait. Today, they made an announcement. Biden did. He's sending another $13.6 billion in aid to Ukraine.
And we have to pay for it.
So that's coming out of our pockets. Yeah, and that could be, and I don't know how the payback would ever go. Who knows?
Tax dollars. We can't make that money back.
But,
they can't print out $13 billion.
But point being, you know, that's in weapons and probably, you know, who knows, first aid, food, who knows. Yeah, maybe some K rations. I don't fucking know. But yeah. I'm like, so it's costing us a bundle of money too because of this moron's transgressions for whatever idealism that he has to take back the country that doesn't want to be there.
A sovereign country. Does people break down the definition of what sovereign means, Tim, real quick, because you probably got to.
That you're independent. You have your own self-government.
So he was bullying, and we deal with bullying on a daily basis with schools.
I mean, they
have
an elected government, you know, and I mean, Zelensky was, what did he win, like 70-30, kind of like a landslide. I mean, the guy was a TV comedian, very popular. People liked him. They figured he was, you know, not corrupt yet. That, you know, the influencers haven't gotten to him yet. Who knows?
Hopefully they won't if they haven't. You talking about for Ukraine?
Correct. That was the first one. Remember when he first got into office? That's the one that Trump went over to and was trying to get the dirt on Biden. Yeah, on Hunter with that, some type of, I don't know, some deal he was doing. I got no freaking clue. But yeah, I mean, he stood up to Trump and that was like his first month in office. So he's got he will stand up to Trump. He'll stand up to Putin. He don't give a shit who you are.
He's not a comedian. He has a different pedigree.
He's cut from a different cloth.
Yeah.
And I guess now they're comparing him to Winston Churchill or something like that.
That's a good comparison.
Calling him the modern day Winston Churchill. So who knows? See what happens. I just hope he makes it through all this bullshit.
Gas prices ain't gonna go down.
No.
They're gonna stay up.
You know what? Hey, we're getting to the end of the show, brother. So do me a favor and let me get to you. Fitness tip of the week from Larry E.
Hey, I am a certified personal trainer from NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine. And my tip for the week is listen to your body. Listen, anytime you're working with a personal trainer or working on your own, if you don't feel 100% or feel a percentage where you can have a good, effective workout, shut it down. If you're working out, you feel a pain or something that's not normal, shut it down. Okay? Do not try to overtrain and overwork yourself. I do it constantly myself. I'm injured now from overworking myself. So listen to your body. Listen to your body, whether you're young or old. That's my tip from the week. You can find me on Facebook at LRE Fitness Solutions. Type in LRE Fitness Solutions, or even on Twitter, Instagram at Estelle Junior Larry. That's my tip for the week.
All right. And you can follow me, Tim McGiffin, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and easily holler at me on www.thequeensylviashow.com and get on the contact page there. All kinds of reasons. We get shows going on and get yourself hooked up with what all we have going on, all three of our shows. But hey, anyhow, you know what, Larry, you said something very interesting when you was talking about listening to your body and you was talking about sports injuries. Do you think a lot of sports injuries, especially when you're training, comes from bad form to begin with?
No, it comes from not listening to your body.
But can it come from bad form? Let's say I'm doing.
Well, no, you can see if you're using proper form, you're not going to get injured. If you're using proper form.
But how do you know what's proper form? That's where you come into place?
Yeah, when you're overtraining. When I train somebody and they say, well, this feel a certain way, I say, stop. We're not doing that anymore. Period. If I'm training somebody on legs, we're doing squats and they don't feel right, I shut it down. If I'm training on shoulders, they don't feel right, I shut it down. And we stop the whole training process. I go to something else. Okay, we're not doing that exercise. We're not doing shoulders. If I'm doing say we're doing shoulders and the anterior delt doesn't feel right, and we're doing shoulder raises, I say shut that down. You know, because this works the front part. If you're doing front part, then you got the lateral, then you got the exterior part. So whatever part, that's happened to Ronnie Goldman. He was training, and that's why he's crippled right now. He can walk, but he overtrained. He felt something, and he kept training. I was doing my sandbag training, and I overtrained. I felt it, but I kept going, and I love to overtrain, and I always injure myself. So listen to your body. Form is form. Technique is technique. But if you're doing too many reps, too much volume, you spending reps volume or sets. If you're tired already and you're still going to try to go hard, you're going to hurt yourself.
It's not good to overtrain.
No, if you're tired, you're tired. Be smart. Do not overtrain. Get some rest.
Don't do anything in excess, as a matter of fact. Anything in excess is not good for you.
Yeah, if you know you can't run as hard as you could when you're full of energy, just do a jog, do a little brisk walk. You know, my knee is hurt, so now I'm not running, I'm swimming. Now I'm back to I'm swimming now.
That other tip was because St. Patrick's Day coming up real soon, and don't do anything in excess on St. Patty's Day.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen anyhow. Anyhow, hey man, this is Larry, Ian, Tim. Until next week, man. Peace.